We're going to take a look at a possible solution for the blood pressure kiosk program problem 2. Now, we already went over the blood pressure reading class in class together. So given that, we should be using that as a reusable component in our solution for the AutoCuff. Class AutoCuff 2 could have 3 blood pressure readings: blood pressure 1, and possibly blood pressure 2 and the blood pressure average. So the constructor creates the 3 blood pressure readings, and note again, reading 2 is only going to be used if we need to do a retest. Blood pressure average will be then calculated if we retest. Otherwise, we'll see below, we just set it to blood pressure 1 if blood pressure 1 was normal. We have one public interface method, run kiosk. We provide the user with instructions, and then we take blood pressure 1. So we pass it blood pressure 1. If the result of blood pressure 1 is normal, we set the average to blood pressure 1, and then the system out print line, this, prints out the results of running the kiosk using the blood pressure average. If blood pressure 1 was not normal, then we repeat the test. Let's take a look at those methods. Instructions are self-explanatory. Here's take blood pressure. Now, whether we're taking blood pressure reading 1 or 2, it's the same set of instructions. So this method is reused for taking blood pressure 1 and possibly, if a retest is needed, for blood pressure 2. We ask them to put hit the button when they're ready to proceed. We ask for input for the systolic and the diastolic, and we use those inputs and call the setter method for systolic and diastolic for the blood pressure reading. Then we print the results from the blood pressure reading class. The repeat test is only called if blood pressure 1 wasn't normal. We report that their first reading was above normal, and then we take blood pressure 2. Again, following the same steps as we followed for taking blood pressure reading 1. But then we compute the average and assign that to blood pressure average, setting the systolic and the diastolic. Then we report the results. The 2-string method prints out a message, our Higgy kiosk report. And then using the results of the blood pressure average, if the diagnosis is normal, we report that they should check again in 6 months. Else, if the diagnosis is prehypertension, then they should see a professional and start a treatment plan. Otherwise, it had to have been hypertension, and we report that their blood pressure is dangerously high and they should seek immediate medical attention. So the goal here was to take advantage of our reusable component, blood pressure reading, and just do the work of the kiosk in this particular class. Okay, I'm going to run this just so we can see it run. Welcome to the Higgy blood pressure reading kiosk. Put your arm in the sleeve with palm facing up and then hit enter when you're ready. Systolic, let's make it a little bit high. Diastolic, we'll keep that in the normal range. This reports that we are exhibiting prehypertension and that we should do another reading. Hit enter to begin. This time, let's make it normal. (110/70), and the average of this is 119/74, which is in the normal range. There wasn't a whole lot of code you had to do here because a lot of the checking and assigning of the diagnosis was done in the blood pressure reading class. Pretty much you needed to take the blood pressure and then repeat the test if needed and print the results. So this is a sample solution. I will post the code. If you have any questions, please post them to the open discussion forum for week 9. And as always, happy Java coding!